Hello, cultural resetters. Welcome back to another week and another interview with another awesome creative. It's your girl Shay here with Nick. And today we are sitting down and talking to a creative who has so much passion and activism in their music. Welcome, Creatrx.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. Your music really speaks volumes, but I'm excited to get to know you. And if you could just start off by introducing yourself and where you got your creative beginning.
Yeah, so I'm Creatrx, and I am just a Black maker. I feel like that's my biggest thing, just be making stuff, visioning, imagining, and it comes out in lots of forms. And the main one, especially right now, is definitely music. But I feel like the imagining is kind of the biggest connecting point and through line through all of my work and my life. Visioning. And I would say always been like that. I think we all are. I think as children, we naturally all are creative and imaginative. And somehow I've been able to hold on to that, which I think is no small feat, and have been able to carry it with me, throughout my life and into my adulthood. And I do think a big part of that, though, is, being queer. We already have to reimagine the world and reimagine how we move through it, and sometimes our own relationships and communities. And I think that is I've been very clear about my queerness from a young age, and I think that has also been in alignment with my creativity. So I really feel like that is the precipice of my art and creativity. Is just being a little weird.
The creative energy from you is strong.
I love that you touched on, how keeping your inner creative, your inner creative, keeping that, from childhood to adulthood is really, really a feat. I think that that's something really interesting that you touched on, because I think a lot of us do lose something as we grow older. Most people, they lose that kind of spark, that kind of vision for hope for the world, but also for what things could be. And that's a big center of what creativity really is. So, I mean, I love that you're able to keep that and funnel that into your work.
Yeah. I had a professor my freshman year of college that told me always maintain a childlike sense of curiosity. And I thought that was great advice because that translates into creativity. Always maintain a childlike sense of creativity, because that innocence, that boundlessness is what enables you to reimagine the world, like you were saying. I mean, and that can go beyond creativity, completely separate, but also, exploring the world through your own queerness, through that lens and that perspective also enables you to be able to break down these boxes of, heteronormativity.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that it's fucking hard, really is hard, especially this is the thing. I start talking and it's never just surface. I'm we could just gonna keep it light at first, but here we are, especially in the capitalism, right? Where it's they don't there's no time to reimagine, because you're just I have to survive, and I have to just, it's just about survival. So being fortunate enough, especially right now, getting these unemployment checks and other things to have time and space to imagine and vision, I'm very, very grateful. And I know that is something that, not all of us have. And to have that privilege, I don't take it lightly. So I think that's part of the reason why it shows up in my music in that way too.
So yeah. I kind of want to take us to a conversation, and I think we're kind of naturally segueing there. Black queer music industry. What is that like for you, navigating this landscape?
Well, I mean, I haven't had that much experience, to be honest, because this is my first project that I'm releasing. So yeah, I'm pretty new to like the industry, right? But I have been able to, through this podcast that I am producing, called Wave Makers, talk to a lot of Black and Latinx music makers who have longevity in the industry, and I've learned a lot from them. And it will be coming out actually when I release my project, so I'm really excited to share. And I talked to like Gangsta Killa, and I talked to TT the artist, and like Latasha, like folks who are established and like have been doing it and have dealt with a lot of bullshit. And yeah, I feel like I have really been gifted so much knowledge just through talking to them about navigating and moving. And I think the biggest takeaways from them is just like being clear on your intention and like staying focused in that. And I think that in the industry it's very easy to get sidetracked, you know, because it's very competitive and there's a lot of going on, but like being clear on your goals and like in your purpose and being steadfast to that and like knowing your values and ensuring that you don't budge from them. And so with all of that, we will see perhaps in like a year or two, if we have another conversation, I will be able to speak for my own experience more. But even stuff like getting, I don't know, like playlisted or things like that. Obviously the industry is very male dominated, and like it's very clear that I can like see other folks who are making a different kind of music or who are just like cis men, and you know, it's very boring, but whatever, they like get all this attention for like not doing much, which is the usual. So it's not, you know, this is what it is. Like I know that, right? This is the industry I chose to be in, so it's not a surprise, but we'll see.
There is a change happening. Just to rewind for a quick second, just for me and for listeners, what was the name of your podcast?
Oh yeah, it's called Wave Makers.
Wave Makers. Okay.
Yeah. And I can like yes, they're so nice.
That's so cool, because we did an album review for them.
Okay. Of Motherland?
Yeah, Motherland, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like our dream to talk to Case the Killer. Oh my goodness. That's really, really
I
bad.
was just like, oh my God, that so like my side gig also is podcast production. Mm-hmm. So but this was like my first like big thing by myself, and man, it was a good experience, but I was just like cold emailing people, just like hitting people up. Like I do not know Cakes. I mean, I got their number now after the interview. They're like, I was like very, very kind, very sweet, really smart, like so smart. But yeah, I just was, hey, I want to talk to me.
That's honestly yes. What you have to do though. That's what you have to do. That's what we've been doing. I mean, like, you know, that direct contact is, it wasn't possible in the old music industry, but in the new music industry with social media, anybody and everybody, you can DM them. Sure, they may never look at your message, never respond, but and sometimes even you get a rejection letter. But you know what? Sometimes that's a win.
Yeah, and actually, like so I actually reached out to TT first. I just like DM'd them and they got back to me. They were already following me, which was great, which I really don't know why, but I was like, okay, girl, thanks sis. And so she put me in contact with Cakes. So it's also a thing like that of, she was just like, who else you want to talk to? Like, I can help you out. And we spoke, and then they just put me in contact. So, I mean, that's the other thing, definitely from the conversations that I've had with like those folks, is like, the support amongst each other is like very palatable. Like they want each other to win. Like they want other Black queer folks to win. And so I'm very excited for this, like, I don't know, it feels like a reemergence of just all these really amazing Black queer artists collaborating together and really wanting to support and just support each other. So yeah, I've already benefited from that, and I'm really, really grateful to that, to them.
That like unit, like like happening? Because I mean, obviously, like in the Black community, sometimes there's a lot of really socially conservative people, and like they don't really like, like Black queer people get like kind of ostracized because of that. And like I just think it's really cool that like the Black queer community is coming together and like really uplifting one another. That's super dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the Black queer community in music, because I think that the communities that are built through music are so strong and spiritual almost. I think that every other industry and community can look to the music industry, or not the music industry, but the music communities,
Yeah.
to set the example there.
Yeah.
I have a question. I was watching your music video for baptism. Very spiritual. What is the relation you have between music and spirituality?
Well, to me, they're the same thing.
Mm.
Like this sounds real, I know, but music does have a vibration, right? Like there is like you are infusing something, like a part of your spirit. Like if you're an artist who really cares about what you're putting out into the world, there's like different people have different intentions when making music, and that's fine. But if you're someone who is like, this is very meaningful to me, then you are really putting a lot into it. And I feel like, and you're sharing that with people, and when people hear that, they're going to be moved and shifted in some way by that. Yeah, and that feels very spiritual to me. So yeah, it feels like the same thing. And also, like I have literally been in spaces where I have seen like people playing the drums, like religious ceremonies where people playing the drums, and then like the people who are attending kind of empty out and the spirit takes over. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really grow up in like a traditional church in that sense, but when people in a Black church are like getting the Holy Ghost, it's oftentimes when the music is going, like they are like open up to another portal of some sort. And so I am from Atlanta though, so that isn't my backdrop, right? Like I didn't go often, but like I have gone and I've seen it, and I've had like other spiritual or like religious experience where I've seen music literally be the thing that like takes people from one place to another. And so yeah, that's just like how I view it, is like the same.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, you just took me back because like
You grew up in the church?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. Like, I
A
mean,
little bit.
it's really ingrained in our community, right? Because like, like the church, religion, Christianity specifically is really ingrained in Black culture. Like it's not just like going to
Negro spirituals.
Negro spirituals, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's where we come from, right? So like that, I just thought about like the mothers of the church, like they would come to the front of the pulpit and like pastor was like, doing his sermon and everything. And like when that music started, that's when he started seeing
Listen.
people fall over and fall like their heads, they'll fall over. You see the little ushers come over and like put the little shawl
Speaking
over
in tongues.
their eyes. Like it's a really, really like deep spiritual experience. Like it always starts when the music starts in church. So I mean, you really just made me think about that. And I guess my question kind of in relation to that is it seems like you're heavily inspired by like Black Christianity, right? How does that kind of play into the fact that you are like Black and queer? If it does.
So I would not necessarily say I'm inspired. I like, okay, so this is like complicated, right? Because I have many feelings about Black people in the Christian church.
Right.
It's very complicated. More so the other like African traditional religions that have been interwoven into Christianity, right? So I'm still very much a baby practitioner, and I'm like, I'm still very much a baby practitioner, and I'm still learning a lot. And I have a godmother who practices Lakumi, which is like the Yoruba tradition, which comes from Africa and then got kind of meshed with some, in order to like preserve itself, intermixed with Christianity. And so it's like there are strong elements of both. And so that is kind of like this interplay between like this Black thing and then this Christian thing, and them coming together, and like me trying to figure out my way through both of those things. And it is still very much a process for me, one that I am like slowly trying to figure out for myself because of all of the trauma and all the, you know, historical things of Black folks in Christianity and the impact it's had on our community. But I do also know that it has been a place of solace for many Black folks, and that there are like people right now who are doing work in the community to make it a more inclusive place for all Black people. Do I go to church all the time? No, because it's not where it needs to be, you know? So it's something that, yeah, I'm definitely still figuring out. And yeah, I don't know, it's complicated.
Yeah, it's definitely complicated. It's an evolution.
There's also an element of nature that I sensed in your music through your spirituality. And that's something that I definitely relate with because while I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I feel like when you're in nature and able to connect with your surroundings, that's when you're almost most in touch with, you know, like the beauty and the power of whatever it is that's able to bring all this life here together. And like, I just want to know what your creative process is like, because your music has like your lyrics and your music itself is very powerful, and it takes all of these topics that are really massive topics to discuss. I mean, and you're able to address them all in the span of a song. I don't know.
Basically, how do you do this?
It's a lot. It's impressive. You know, I was like, it's all there. It's all there.
Yeah, I think, hold on, there's a helicopter.
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear it or not, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, I just think that mainly I just like try to listen. You know what I mean? Like I just try to be like, girl, just shut up. Just like shut up. You just gotta be like, shut up sometimes. Like you're doing a lot, and just like just yeah, I kind of think in general, most of us should be quiet more than we are. And we would hear a lot more.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I think that's one of the things that I love about nature. Yeah, I feel very strongly connected to nature. I have done I've done farm school at this amazing farm in upstate New York called Fire Farm. And it's ran by, it's just for like Black folks and Indigenous folks and Latinx folks. And they do like these really incredible immersions where you can come and just like learn how to farm. And I've done some herbalism classes, and I like go to like the community garden and all of those things because it feels like, I don't know, it sounds so dramatic when I talk, but it feels like God is there, right? That also is a place where I'm like, oh, this is what's important. Like, yeah, I feel so connected there. And so I just try to go to those places and like be quiet. And then I just like get messages. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just,
yeah.
Like, I know it's not me. It's very clear for me that I am like a channel. You know, like I like be on my altars or I be outside, and then it just happens. But it doesn't feel like I am like, let me do this thing now. It just feels like, do you need me to move? Because now I'm outside and there's a dog out here. Would you like me to? Is that okay?
It adds character.
Okay, cool. But
like,
yeah. I just be trying to shut up.
No. I mean, like, because what you're talking about is really real. First of all, I want to talk about that. Like, I feel like more people should do that. And I completely understand what you mean when you say, like, when you're one with nature, you sit there and you're silent for a minute, you feel one with God, or like you feel one with the universe. Like, I think that's something that people really need to do a little bit more myself. I know I need to do it more personally. Like, I mean, but I get that that's like where you feel like you can channel yourself, channel your messages, and like channel your creativity too, right? So, I mean, I understand exactly what you're talking about. It's a very unique feeling.
Yeah.
I also understand what you're talking about. I identify as a witch just because I can't think of a better term for it. And when I go out into nature, and you're right, you just have to be quiet sometimes. I am a very social person, so it's very good when I am by myself in this surrounding and I can be silent and I can ground myself. And that feeling, even though I may not be getting out daily, weekly, whatever, to be reconnecting with nature, I also bring nature back with me. And that's how you form your altars and stuff. Like, literally, I keep like rocks and sticks and twigs and all kinds of crazy things around me, because that's also fuel for creativity. There's so much beauty and music in nature that it translates, it translates into these songs, even if maybe we don't know it. But I think that it, and that your creativity is channeled through it and almost like empowered by nature.
Yeah. And there's also this, like, I find that I'm like, oh, right, there is like everything you need to know, you can just learn from pants. Like, I genuinely feel like everything you need to know, you can just, like, there's no competition, there's no like rush to the finish line, like there's no comparison. They all in plants, they just do what they do.
Well, unless you're going extinct, then that's a problem.
Well, that's from that's because of us. Like, just untouched.
Fact.
They just do what they do. Like, there's a natural intelligence that like that the world, all humans, that we do have, that we sometimes ignore. And I feel like if we could just like honor the natural intelligence of like of plants and of all these other creatures that know how to survive and share and like not hoard and like not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a balance in nature that's very fine, but it's so complex and so steady that it's even though there's so much chaos going on, it works. It's balanced.
It's like divinely orchestrated chaos.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, love talking about this, but maybe we should circle back around.
Yeah, I mean, but this kind of leads into another thing too, because like my sentiment from you, just from this conversation we've had, is that you are about peace, you're about tranquility, like you're all about like reconnecting with like the equilibrium, right? So we've always heard,
but sometimes the equilibrium is out of whack very much in one way, and in order to get back to the center, there has to be something drastic as well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that, like, I do, like, just, I don't know, just the type of wild ass behavior in this country alone, is like, oh, people are very out of whack, incredibly, right? Like, the way that, even if we're talking about like these fossil fuels, like these companies, these gas companies and stuff, have completely taken things out of whack. And so if that means going and fucking up some shit, excuse me, to get things back in whack, right, then, and perhaps, perhaps we might need other tools, right? And you can't always just be meditating when the call now is for some other type of action.
So you're
to get us back to that center point. I mean, I think that's what imagining is, right? It's a change, it's something different. Yeah,
and you want to know what fuels the energy for revolution and change? Creativity, music, when it, like we were saying earlier, when it comes into you and your body empties out and you're filled with this music, you are merely, oh, there's such a good word in my head. What is it? A vessel? You're merely a vessel.
Yeah,
Sometimes that happens. I just have to like think. I'm like, the word's in there.
it's there. And then it's one of those things where when you just like, all right, just stop trying and then it comes to you. That's how it be sometimes.
But like also, I feel like, I mean, in the music industry specifically, we're always told that like it's about that hustle mentality, right? It's about pushing and like wanting it bad. You know, I feel like the
Mhm.
industry's kind of been in the past the epitome of capitalism, kind of the opposite of
Oh my God.
what we're talking about right here. So how do you like where do you see
Absolutely.
yourself in it? Like where do you see
Um,
yourself in the future?
I'm so glad you asked this question because I struggle with this question all the time. And even my girlfriend is like, I be struggling. I'm like, should I be making, not even should I be making music, because I would make music regardless because I love to do it. But will I have like the career that I want to have? Moving through the world the way that I want to move through the world.
Mhm.
So I think it's possible, A. But I also do believe that like if things are meant for you, they're meant for you.
Mm.
You know, and there doesn't, because there's also how many other people who have hustled and hustled and hustled and still not made whatever happen. So if something is meant for you, that's what it is. And so I am like, I'm not gonna say that it's easy because it is a thing that I'm still like actively daily working on being like, this is how I want to move through the world. I make music that is talks about, you know, anti-capitalistic ideas. So I don't then on the back end want to be like move in ways that are contradictory to what I believe in or to even what I'm putting out in the world. Which yeah, is very much opposite of how the music street is set up, you know? So it is a thing that I'm constantly thinking about and kind of internally struggling with. So
But
keep
you're
me
what
posted on that too.
you're what the industry needs. Like I feel like an attitude like what you have is kind of what needs to happen in the music industry, you know, because everybody's about this hustle, hustle, hustle. And now we have such an oversaturation of artists, you know, and people are just like doing stuff for the wrong reasons, right? So I feel like
Yeah.
your energy is really what the industry kind of needs to shift towards. It's sort of like, you know, if it happens, it happens. I'm just gonna make music for me. And if it connects with my fan base and my audience, and that's what matters. If that audience grows, then it grows. If it doesn't, then I'm still being myself and then making other people happy as well. So you're a vibe.
Yeah.
You're a
You're
whole vibe.
Thanks.
you're
But
way
to be honest
better.
though, I do also I do wanna like travel and meet people. I do want to do those things too, right? I'm not gonna, you know, make it seem one way. Like those are things that I've wanted this for a long time. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna figure it out. I have faith. Okay. And
You got it. You got it.
thank you. You got it too.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. We're trying out here, all right? We're trying.
Because
Oh,
I also was like looking through your website and I see y'all don't post every day, but
Mm-mm.
there's no way to like, it seems, this is a presumption of mine, but to make and have the conversations you want to have and be like posting every single day, like some of these other magazines are, right?
Yes.
To just like stay relevant. So like I also like, how do y'all do it? I don't know if it's the same for the magazine world or like, yeah, is it similar?
I think that it's similar, but it's different. Mostly because while we do have a regular schedule just to like, you know, keep
Mm,
content coming, it is much slower. You know, we're not putting out daily, we're putting out weekly or
uh-huh.
bi-weekly because we're more in it for quality of conversations and quality of content rather than quantity.
Right.
You know, while we are trying to connect with as many people, and of course it's also important to be like, you know, making sure that our social media is growing because we want to spread this message. Ultimately, if
Mhm.
at the core you have a message that people want or need to hear, that is, yeah, that's the value.
Hello.
So, I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying.
I want to say too, kind of echoing what you're saying, Shay, like another reason why we do that is because, you know, if you post interview back to back to back or album review back to back to back, just the way the algorithm works, like people aren't going to read it. And like what's really important about what we do is that we get the eyes of like music business professionals or aspiring creatives on our content, on
Mhm.
our platform, so they can listen to the conversations like these and kind of apply these things to their either professional career or just to their lives in general. So like we don't post back to back to back to back to back because nobody will like get everybody's story. Like we need to
Also,
like let there be time for there to be like time to like savor everybody's story. So
We also couldn't. I mean, honestly, we need more people for that. Like,
yeah, because you're people and
yeah,
not
because we're
machines.
human.
yeah,
And we also, we have jobs.
yeah.
Right.
So it,
I believe in y'all.
I believe in our volunteers. Are you kidding me? I wish that in every call, like, y'all could meet our volunteers, because they are rock stars, and those are the people that have our mission in the core of them and are putting their time towards this, because they believe that this is the impact. Really, like, this platform gets me
This is the work.
hype.
This is the work. And
This
like
is the work.
plug, like, go visit our Meet the Team page and see the professionals behind this doc. There's a whole bunch of people, like the editors and the graphics people and the audio. Like, it's all people care about this. So, like, I mean, yeah, we hope that we can have an impact, like you're having an impact. Like, we just really, I think we all have the same mission. We all want to kind of change the industry. And, like, I guess with that said, what advice, I know you're a new artist to the industry and everything like that, but like, what advice would you want to give to an aspiring creative or a music business professional who's already, been working in the industry? What advice would you give to them from your perspective?
I think I don't know, man. We just can't be so serious. I think that's part of it. I just think, like, we gotta do things joyfully. Like, I think that, especially right now, about to go into COVID 2.0, like, I think, right now, I think a big focus is just like joy, like cultivating joy in everything. And I'm trying to do that in my own like tasks that I'd be like, man, I don't want to do this shit. But like, how can I try to approach it with more joy and like, and know that this particular thing is a part of like a bigger plan for me. And I think like being more present in that way, and not just, I'm not here to be running ourselves ragged. If possible. Some of us don't have that choice, but like, if you do, I think to really take care of ourselves and find joy when we can, because no one is going to give it to you. No one's gonna, you know what I mean? It's the opposite. They will encourage you to like, run yourself into the ground.
I will say though, I feel you brought us joy today. Like, I really, really genuinely enjoyed getting to know you. Like, I mean, of course, I love getting to know all the creatives, but I really just, I feel very, I don't know, just positive. Like, I'm feeling very positive right now. And I feel like, at the end of this call, I'm going to be able to carry with me just your attitude and your perspective, which is so critical. And, even though you're getting your start in the music industry, I think your creative energy is just so powerful that you need to go a long way. Like, this is why we got to this is why we got to keep the momentum going, because like, people need you, okay?
Listen, I just like we need each other for real.
What do you have coming up? Because we're wrapping up. Okay. I want to know, like, what you've got on your plate right now, or what you have in the future.
Yeah, so my project will be dropping. My project. Wow, this is like my first plug, y'all. Hey, it's my first time doing this.
Wait.
Okay, so my project, Dark Honey Glitter Water, will be dropping on September 9th, and I'm very excited to share it with y'all. It is, I don't know, I just feel like it's a mixtape for bad bitches who like plants.
Oh my God, you just triggered me.
That's such a quote.
Wait. I've never said that before. I don't even know where that came from, but
I don't know, but that hit a mark.
That's it.
I'll be tuning in.
Oh my God. But yeah, I'm really, really grateful to be releasing into the world, and I'm really grateful for speaking with y'all again. And yeah, it means a lot. So
Thank you, I mean, for coming on and talking with us. I mean, you are definitely a light to the platform for sure. And I mean, even though like you're new to the industry, like you are exactly what the industry needs. So like, I know, I
thanks.
wish you the best.
Yeah.
I know
And
you're
you
the,
are a cultural resetter.
Nope.
Boom.
Okay, boom. Do y'all tell everybody at the end, like, you have like a checklist of like, this is what it means to
Certified.
be.
5 things. Like, no, I mean, you're just what we need. So, that being said,
Cool.
I mean, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode. Definitely look into the link in the description. You will be able to follow Creatrx and listen to all of their music. It's really, really dope. You should do it. And we will see you next week.
Yes, we will.
All
All right.
right, bye.
Bye.